In a digital world, why go analog? Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we're going to dive into the new HEDD Type 5 8-core studio monitors and find out. So in the audio world, the more and more we kind of progress and have technological advantages in areas like studio monitoring, the more you kind of see the prevalent of DSP processing and digital supremacy, as it were. However, there are a lot of trade-offs to going digital, and there's a lot of advantages to keeping it analog when it comes to studio monitors. And to that end, we're going to check out the brand new Type 5 8-core monitors from HEDD. And before we go any further, this is not a sponsored video per se. I'm not being paid to make this video, nor does HEDD have any input in the making of this video. However, they did send me these monitors several months ago, and I am just now getting around to kind of checking them out and making a video for you guys to see. All thoughts and opinions are mine. So the first thing I typically do in prep for making, a video about something like studio monitors is I look at the frequency response. Now, I looked at some of the specs and saw some of the other content that came out surrounding the Type 5s. And I would see things like, the frequency response is 43 hertz to something like 50K. And then I got them, physically speaking, and I thought, what? No way. Yes way. Now, 43 hertz for a 5-inch driver is pretty nuts. Now, these things sound very, very good and robust. Now, the mid-range is accurate, and the top end is very robust, but not piercing due to the AMT drivers, the tweeters that are in the Type 5s, which is something that HEDD is kind of famous for, and also in the headphones that we recently checked out on the channel as well. The AMT drivers allow to go super, super high frequency accurately and with a lot of detail. However, they don't usually come across as harsh in my experience. However, my dog really enjoys the detail of these. 50K is nuts. Now, the Type 5 also features a Class D amplifier with 100 watts of clean, ample dynamic range. 100 watts for a monitor this size is pretty nuts. Now, because these are all analog, that means they don't utilize any DSP. There is no latency to worry about, but also that makes it so there's just less stuff in these monitors. And to that end, on the rear panel, basically you have four controls technically. You basically have a high control, a low control, a volume, and an input select, and that's it. HEDD takes care of the rest, and I like that simplicity. Now, aesthetically, these are a very, very nice, sleek-looking monitor. I know that sound ultimately matters most, although, if I'm gonna pay what are $699 per monitor for something like the Type 5s, I want them to look good too, damn it. And to that end, these look very, very sleek. They look modern. However, I find them to be nice and weighty, but not overly heavy, if that makes sense, right? So when you pick these up, you think, okay, yeah, these mean business. So finally, let's talk about some use cases. I think these are right at home mastering, mixing, whether you're in a dorm room, a small bedroom, or a smaller compact control room. If you are used to hearing the sub lows, I would definitely recommend a subwoofer. However, here in the podcasting studio, when I had these set up, they were totally adequate and fine for all the way down to functionally about 50 hertz, which is completely fine for things like kick drums in heavy rock music, for example. Things that some users may get turned off by is the lack of digital features and the lack of DSP. And these are priced, again, $699 a piece. Is that competitive? I don't know. The price points for monitors these days are all over the place. However, you do get that head engineering and you do get that level of detail and quality in the sound, especially in the high end, that you don't get in other monitors for this price, in my opinion and experience. So take that for what it's worth. These have been an incredible addition to the podcasting studio here, and we're just going to keep on using them and cranking them up. If you'd like to know more information on all things HEDD monitors, I will link down below in the description. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.